All right, everybody, we are now live with the 3+1 live cast. Tracy, welcome to another show.
What's up? Thank you for having me, Zach.
Oh, whatever. Thank you for having me. Maybe, yeah, thank you too. We are joined this week with two amazing guests that are here to talk to us about their amazing new podcast. Nikita and Aaron, welcome to the 3+1 live cast.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. It is a pleasure that you're here with us. And we already have some comments flowing in. Lawrence, welcome. Glad that you could join us. For all of our guests who are out there watching, we want...
Oh, no. This is what he was worried about. So I'll say it for all of our guests. We want you to participate. So please put your comments in the box below, and I will keep us flowing and going until Zach comes back in. Well, here he is.
I froze, right? You know, I'm having for whatever reason, some internet connectivity issues, but I'm back, right?
Yes.
You're back.
Do I sound clear? Do I sound good?
You sound great.
All I'm worried about tonight is the sound. And so let's just jump right into the discussion. I do want to start off, though, Tracy, and talk to you very briefly about your week. I know it's been a busy week for you, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing some courses.
Yes.
For Congo Theater. There's a series of courses. And Aaron, Nikita, I know that you guys have a lot of, artistic leanings, as I heard on that very first podcast. Tracy, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with Congo Theater and how you are allowing people to learn how to do good audition tapes virtually?
Okay, so Congo Square Theater Company is located in Chicago, Illinois, where I'm an ensemble member. And this year we wanted to do something that we've never done before, and that is start a training institute for working and aspiring actors. So we will start our first quarter of classes, and I teach the first class called the Master the Art of Self-Tape, where I teach you all about self-tape auditions and framing and, sight lines and all kinds of things that'll make you pop in your audition to catch the eye of the casting director. So I'm really, really super excited. We also have Javon Johnson of the Oval, who will be teaching about the business of acting in September. And then we have another founding ensemble member, Ann Joseph Douglas, who will be talking about auditioning for the stage. I'm so super excited, guys. I cannot tell you. This means so much to me. It's also been a labor of love because over quarantine, I have been really fighting, to get this thing on its feet, and it's finally happening. So I'm excited.
So we're excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to see this continue to grow and for you to share your talents and your skills in a totally different venue. And speaking of sharing your talents and your skills, we are again joined by the Find Your Light podcast. And so, guys, the first thing, why don't you just tell us a little bit about Find Your Light before we go into our series of questions? You tell us and our audience what you want us to know about this really uplifting and innovative podcast.
Essentially, we just go ahead, Aaron.
Nikita.
Go ahead.
Let me tell you what's obvious. What's obvious is that you two have a synergy and that you guys already are completing each other's sentences and speaking at the same time, which is a great sign of a great duo.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Come on, Tia and Tamara.
So ultimately, we're doing our own kind of healing work, and we work in we have different adventures or ventures that we have in the community where we're already together to enrich lives and help people and just to build community. And so we're both kind of on our own path to healing. And so we often are sharing resources with one another. And so kind of during quarantine, we were having a conversation, and in that conversation, Find Your Light birthed. Ultimately, Nikita was doing some affirmations, already sending them out to group texts and things of that nature. And then I was wanting to embark on kind of a project of my own. So we essentially just wanted a place where we could kind of share our story, kind of our healing process, different tools we're using, and just, share our voice really. And because we know other people are also going through different things at this time, and they have their own journey that they can relate to, or tools that they might be in different places and they might want to utilize the tools that we're using and things of that nature. So we just wanted to share that light, essentially.
That's awesome.
I'll add, I think that a lot of the conversations that we have on the podcast are conversations we have in our, day-to-day life. So when we get together and we have our brother time and we go to dinner, or we're, doing whatever together, these are conversations that we're naturally having. And a lot of it was, other people can benefit, from some of this healing. And like, I know that, again, like the passing of resources, and oh my God, I just read this book, or I listened to this podcast and it resonated with conversation we had a couple weeks ago, check it out. So this is a way where I think, as we are all hoping to turn and stand in light is illuminating, light gives you, energy. And as we all are hoping to find more light in our life, this is a way to just share that with other people. And so it's been a fun undertaking. It's been definitely a passion project thus far.
So one thing that I liked about the podcast, the first episode was absolutely leaning towards the spiritual, and a lot of language about manifestation, affirmations, positive intentions. And, I really feel like that's a light in the world that we live in right now, with so many things happening and so much anxiety and things that are causing anxiety for a lot of people. So before we even go any further, I want to know from both of you, what is today's intention? Because I loved how the podcast episode started with, every episode having an intention. So what is today's intention for you two?
So today, my intention was to let love rule. And so as I send out, because I send out affirmations daily. So so I always send an intention and a couple of affirmations that either, correlate to the intention, or just, affirmations on their own. But today's was Let Love Rule. It's a legacy song, but I just think that when we move and we act from a place of love, when we allow love to have the upper hand, we can only manifest great things from that.
Tracey,
And what? 1 Corinthians 13.
Tracey, do you like any Travis?
Listen, that's not just about relationships, y'all. That's about like romantic relationships. That's every relationship, right?
So 1 Corinthians 13 is my favorite. That's 4-8 is my favorite verse. And I remember years and years ago, something that like shook me to the core and totally altered the way that I navigate through life is we should be able to replace anyone in our life's name with love, in that space. So I began to say, and that it became my life's mission, that I hope everybody I encounter can go through life and say, Nikita is patient. Nikita is kind. Nikita is not quick to envy. Like, Nikita holds no record of wrongdoing. Like, and so that is the way that I want to live my life. And that is how I hope people experience me. So a lot of affirmations and a lot of things are about love and centering around that, because that is the scripture that guides my life.
Wow. I think that's dope. And with your first episode, a lot of it talked about mindfulness and being present. But with this COVID situation, a lot of us are finding a lot of things to do to fill our time. And I know for me, I've gotten inundated with Zoom meetings and all kinds of stuff going on, and I'm not really being present. So Aaron, tell me a little bit about ways in which we can be present. And Nikita, you can, tag team, but what are some ways that we can be more present, especially during this quarantine time?
I actually feel like it allowed me that the things that I had on my plate, a lot of them things got knocked off because of COVID and the quarantine. And so there's been times when I literally would leave my phone or I was off of social media for 3 months. Find Your Light, the podcast, is what made me kind of come back onto social media. And so if it wasn't for Find Your Light, I would still be off of social media. And so that was a lot of the ways that I was unplugging and being present with the people that I was quarantining with my partner and things of that nature, or my mom, and just being more intentional, just sitting down and watching old TV shows with my mom or whatever. And that's how I'm being more present, really, like making sure my phone is off, or even with myself, being more present, and not always trying to multitask. I would say a lot of times we work so hard and we're doing so many things that we are literally multitasking, or we think we are, and we're doing this to 85%, we're doing this to 15% or whatever. And I just started trying to really just focus at one thing at a time. And so I think that is kind of like my approach and what I've been doing, really. I would say getting rid of social media for a little while, and definitely putting my phone down as much as possible. So,
hey man, what about you, Nikita?
I'll say being more present for me started with intention. And when I was able to set that intention each day, then as I saw my attention or my energy drifting towards other places, that intention I set for the day, I was able to recenter myself. And so I think that, the quarantine provides two options. One is like, oh, now I have time for all the things that I have been putting off, or the quarantine provides more reason and more excuse to fill our calendar and to fill our time with things that may not serve us in the long run. And so for me, the quarantine and being present has been around like doing things that are building upon each other, that set the foundation that I really want to set forth in my life.
That's dope.
So what are the things that you guys, this is open to all three of us, really all four, like four of us. What are some unique things that you guys have done to really be able to find balance and peace during the COVID-19 crisis?
I would echo like how I start my day. I think, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm always as consistent as I should be, but for a good while, I literally had a very like almost a regimented morning practice of getting up, maybe stretching, doing a certain meditation, things of that nature. And that was really keeping me, kind of recharging me and refreshing my mind and keeping me positive. And I listen to other podcasts that have like whether affirmation or just positive mindset, kind of like mantras and things of that nature. And I was just utilizing that, and then also being physically active daily, like being committed to my physical activity. That was really keeping me keeping me level-headed. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I say I like to set challenges for myself. And the way all of these affirmations came about were, I remember thinking to myself, I'm just going to take 30 days and I'm going to write affirmations every day, and I'm going to see how it transforms my life. And I'm going to see what impact and how that helps me. And from starting to write those affirmations, then that became the conversations on Find Your Light. And then it became the Instagram, and then it became the podcast. All of these things were unplanned, but each month I really like to set a challenge. So it could be every day this month, I'm going to close all the rings on my Apple Watch. I'm going to make sure I'm physical or whatever, but I like to have a challenge. And that challenge is something that keeps me focused and it keeps me centered. And so I like, set a goal, and whether it's for the week or for 30 days or for 60 days or whatever, and really be diligent in my stewardship to accomplishing it.
I think for me, that's exactly, we're all going to piggyback on some of the same things. But I think for me during quarantine, there's a lot of things that I said I wanted to do and I kept putting off. One of those things was setting up my voiceover booth. And I taught myself how to do that. Then the next day I taught myself how to edit. Then the next day I taught myself how to upload video and screen, just like you were saying, screen record. And so like you were saying, every day was something new. It was a new adventure for me. And that's what's made quarantine enjoyable for me. I'm smarter now. I'm smarter now. I can do more. And also the activity thing, like 6:30 every day or 5:30, between 5:30 and 7:30, I try to work out. I don't schedule anything. I have no clients during that time. Like every time somebody asks me to do something, I'm intentional. I'm like, look, it can't be between this hour and this hour, because I am dedicated to doing some kind of activity every day during this time. So that's been my saving grace. What about you, Zach?
You know, for me, it's been actually, I found peace through activism and really, you know, I'm a workaholic. I think that's, you know, if you know me, you know that I'm a workaholic. I work all the time. And I'm also an extreme extrovert. I feel that quarantine for people like me has been a lot more challenging than for people who are more inclined to introversion, because people who are introverted can draw energy from inside of themselves and they can motivate and inspire themselves.
Mhm.
I need people to motivate me and to keep me inspired. I need conversation to talk through issues and problems. And I need just human connection to feel empowered and strong. So for me, I've actually found a way to get that from posting more on Facebook, doing more live casts and events like this, and still being connected to people and meeting people in a way that I couldn't or I would not have thought to do without quarantine. So that has given me my strength and my peace and my encouragement, you know, at a time like this. And so, and that's what made me so excited to find the Find Your Light podcast, because there's so many things out there that's negative and that is just, we're in a tough spot. This week, First Lady Michelle Obama, forever First Lady Michelle Obama, you know, shared with the world that she was dealing with low-grade depression. And although I've seen some people post negative comments, and I'm like, how can you critique someone dealing with depression? You know, I thought that was unfortunate. But I'm very thankful that she shared it, because I think many of us are depressed at this time. We're dealing with an unlived experience of a coronavirus pandemic. We're dealing with a failed governmental response to the pandemic. Yep. We're dealing with catch-22 life choices of sending kids to school or keeping them home. And we're dealing with, finally, America being confronted with racial injustice in a way that we haven't been confronted with racial injustice in many of our lifetimes. So all that leads to, I think, sense of anxiety and a sense of depression. And that's why I'm really thankful that Find Your Light, you know, is there.
Yep. You
guys talked about the motivation behind this and why you started this. You guys also share in common that you're both from the Midwest. So,
where? Let me find out.
Well, I'm from Ohio.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm from Wisconsin, southeastern
Wisconsin. Don't try to, you know, y'all say Wisconsin. I lived in Chicago for 12 years, so I feel like a Midwesterner myself.
And, you know, that's where Congo Square Theater is located.
Yeah.
So what brought both of you to Arizona? And I want to know, what is it like for both of you as Black men in that state?
Okay. So
we're on the ride.
So the university, Arizona State University, I work at in higher education. So that brought me to Arizona. And I would say initially, because when you work in student affairs or higher education, there's a lot of different organizations and a really like kind of an overall mindset of being forward thinking or being inclusive and all this great thing. So we kind of work in a bubble where that is already happening. So when it's not happening out and around the world, like I still felt comfortable because there was diversity in my department and there was diversity in leadership and things of that nature. So it helped me. Now, when I go out into the community, it was a little different. And so that's kind of where the idea of kind of building what we have now, which is a social network of brothers, we kind of founded that and built that on here out in Arizona or out in Phoenix. And that then allowed me to have space to talk about different things, to just fellowship, to go on trips, to just, kind of, share, have shared experiences and things of that nature.
So before I jump in, hey, Ohio folks, I'm from Columbus. I did all my education in Dayton, Ohio. So I went to Wright State for undergrad. I went to the University of Dayton for grad school, spent some great time in Cincinnati prior to moving to Phoenix. And so me moving to Phoenix, I had some close friends and some distant family members here, and they had spoken so highly of this place. I had to come and check it out. And so came to Arizona State University, and and to Aaron's point, like I think that coming to Phoenix and coming to Arizona, which is a red state, but coming to Arizona State University, where again, so progressive, so such a place that celebrates diversity. Arizona State, their tagline, the thing that they pride themselves on, is being number one in innovation. That was a place that like I, as a young professional, thrived. Yeah. And so Aaron, at the same time, when I came, he worked at Arizona State. We didn't know each other then, and we talk about that in the podcast, but we got connected. And as soon as I met him, like I think we went out for dinner or, to kind of get to know each other, realized we were in the same fraternity, and we had all of these experiences, similar shared experiences where we could really relate and connect to each other. And we just kind of started to build a brotherhood. Like we had a whole group of friends we'd hang out with. And, but because we're in Arizona and we are in Phoenix, we understand that like the bubble that we lived in was great because we only saw other Black people, but it was also very rare to go to a grocery store or to go out and see other Black people. But when you'd be like, oh my God, there are other Black people here. What are you doing? Let's connect. Let's build community together. And so Aaron came to me at some point and was like, hey, I have this idea of a way to really build community across our shared identities. What do you think? And so we began to brainstorm and we began to think about them. I moved away for a little while. I came back, but in that time, Aaron was really able to cultivate and create this space for Black men to share in their experiences. To, hey, I just moved here. I need a barber, or I need a realtor. I'm looking for whatever it was to make these connections because most of the Black people that live in Arizona, while there are some natives, most people have relocated here for a job. So they don't have a deep sigh or a deep sense of community. And so we've been able to help cultivate more of that. And that's really through like Aaron's vision and really just bringing everybody together. And that's been a beautiful thing to see.
Okay, so listen, my friend just moved to Phoenix and he needs a good group of Black men to be with. So how do I text him? Because I just told him y'all are out there.
Tell him, find this, tell him add me. Let's get them connected.
Okay, so
yeah, step number one, Tracey, he needs to watch the live cast. Step number one,
and listen to Find Your Light the podcast.
That's right. Step number two is Find Your Light podcast.
I said, Find Your Light podcast. They're from.
Let me throw it up again. Bam.
But
I
find you on social media so I can tell them now. Just go.
Find Your Light is on IG.
It's on everywhere. Find Your Light's on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm on the same. My name is the same on everything. Okay. Let's get him connected. Let's reach out and love on him and make sure he finds that community too.
And we're getting ready to go into our topics for all of our viewers who are watching, ready to dig in. But I have a few more questions. I definitely want to know about manifesting. Like, I'm a manifester, but all of our viewers are not. On the first podcast, you guys talk about manifesting. You talk about self-healing. You in all works together, your affirmations, your setting intentions, you're having a mental focus around what it is that you're going to create and bring into being. Just not wanting to get too metaphysical with us, but what can you guys, both of you, kind of say about manifestation and how it fits into you helping maintain a sense of spiritual and mental balance?
Teach me.
Aaron, go ahead.
I would say that for me, and I kind of dive into it on our episode that comes out tomorrow. So it's episode 2, which is called Find Your Foundation. I would say for me, I was dealing with a lot of, there's some things I brought from my childhood into my adulthood. And like we said, affirmations. I started with reading some books, listening to podcasts, even therapy. And I started to have to pray and meditate on, at first, when I entered meditation, I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I was kind of lost. I just wanted to meditate because everyone said it was calming and it was this and that. But then I started listening to guided meditations and being intentional and going to finding a meditation that spoke to, that the title spoke to kind of what I was going through that week or what I needed to work on or whatever. And that's what then after doing that meditation, instead of just choosing a meditation, guided meditation one day and just doing that, I would do that same meditation day after day after day until I could do it without the guided meditation. And so for me, it's really aligning that, because now that's setting your mindset, you're changing your mindset, because we will hear something negative and it could take over our whole day. We can hear something positive and not know how to receive it. And so listening to that that meditation is kind of like recalibrating your brain and your mindset. And I think that's the way that I've been, and then taking that and now turning the negative into positive. And then, so instead of saying I was a victim, like I'm a victor, you know, like I'm no longer a victim, you know what I'm saying? Instead of always saying that. And so just word choice, changing that, and just really trying to reshape your mind with what you're listening to and what's coming into your psyche, and having that be kind of repeated in everywhere you go. So whether it's what I follow on Instagram, what I'm reading, what I'm listening to, all of those things are kind of reinforcing those, and to help me to manifest positivity and growth and healing. Yeah.
I'll say, I love that Aaron mentioned mindset. And this is, I think for me, you know, manifestation, the affirmations, setting the intentions has been about stretching our mind to believe that all things are possible. And I think so many times that fixed mindset will see what's in front of us, and we're not able to see beyond that. And so, you know, I think that if we're thinking just totally on manifestation, of course that's there. But, you know, I grew up with a Southern grandmother, and I was in church every week, every day. And so, you know, think about like the prayer and being able just like, you know, power, you know, life and death lies in the power of your tongue, and understanding just how our words carry such meaning. And I think I even mentioned on the first episode, just even the ways that we speak to ourselves. So for me, it's not even about how everyone else is talking to me. It's more so, am I able to, you know, speak and pour into myself, encourage myself in that way? And so writing the affirmations and things, I think in a lot of ways, it's like exercising. It is like strengthening a muscle that you don't know you're going to need until you find yourself in a situation. And when you didn't react the way that you used to react, you know that you have been doing the conditioning and doing the strengthening of your muscles, and you're able to see things in a different way. And so I know we got a lot to cover, but I'll say this quickly. I remember one time very early in writing affirmations, I wrote out one day, you know, I speak up for myself even if my voice shakes. Didn't it, like, and I remember I had to have a really difficult the opportunity presented itself to have a conversation with my mother. And I remember I usually would have backed off from that, you know, based on all the trauma, all the whatever, but I was able to really articulate my experience and share my feelings. And even though my voice shake, I had the confidence to do so. So many times we are doing things and we are planting the seed and we are, you know, harvesting this soil, and we don't know when that's going to bloom and when we're going to see the fruits of that. So I see the conditioning and stretching just as way we stretch every morning, or we're doing some physical activity. Like this is the mental and spiritual space where we are working out to strengthen, so we are ready to move into whatever we have to face that day or next week or 3 months from now. All right, I'm done.
You gotta preach that thing. Both of y'all that came on the show and gave us a sermon. Hallelujah.
So you know what, Nikita, Candy, we need to have a whole separate just a quick pop-up. I was gonna do like Facebook pop-ups where we talk about manifesting, because that story, Nikita, is a classic example of the intention you set and the power that you bring into play. God has given us the strength that we need to bring forth every dream in our heart. There is no dream in any heart that we have that God didn't intend for it to come true. If God told you and put in your heart a level of success, a level of love, a level of happiness, he put it there because it is a part of his plan for you and where he wants to take your life. And so I think that for the people watching us live right now who are hearing this and experiencing this with us right now, you are here because God means for you to be here, and you are meant to hear what you just heard from Aaron and Nikita. It's all divinely ordered. So I'm happy to because I just want to end this part before we go into the discussions about something that isn't as positive. That's something that, you know, is happening in the Midwest. And now I want to say, if you have not read the book, The Law of Divine Compensation by by Marion Williamson, former Democratic presidential candidate, you need to start right there. Many people start with The Secret, and The Secret is great. But for me, manifesting started with the Bible. It started with learning how to write the vision, and make it plain.
Yes.
And for me, the next book that came into place was, again, The Law of Divine Compensation by Marion Williamson. I saw her on the Oprah show way back in the day as a teenager. And I have been a firm believer in the strength that God has given me to bring forth my best life. And with that being stated, even though we work hard to bring forth our best life, sometimes things happen that interfere and intervene, like the Aurora, Colorado police, once again, being guilty of a horrible racist incident, in their area where they stopped a young woman, Brittany Gillum, where they then pulled her and her family out of their vehicle because they thought wrongly that it was a stolen vehicle, and then pulled guns on her and her children. I think the youngest child being 6 years old, a 6-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 17-year-old, guns drawn. I kind of want to know, what do you guys think about this, being, in the Midwest, and as all of us being Black, what are your thoughts on this? And also from our audience, what do you think about what happened in Aurora, Colorado this week?
I say stop doing stuff that you have to apologize for, first of all. And just looking into this and realizing that they had to issue an apology. It's like, what in your right mind, even if unfortunately, we live in a country where material things are more important or more valued than us as human beings. And so whether the car was stolen or whatever, and you've seen these children, that does not give a justifiable reason to use brute force, to use guns and weaponry. It doesn't equate to anything. And so it just lets us know that our skin is a weapon to them. Like Blackness is, criminalization to them.
And I muted everyone, so when you're not speaking, because there's a little bit of an echo or background, so just unmute when you're ready to talk, and mute when you're not speaking.
Oh, it's my turn. So listen, this is my issue with all of these situations, especially when dealing with police officers. How can you mistake someone or a stolen car? Did you not look up the license plate? Like, before you go through all of these different changes and pulling people out and pulling guns out on, can you run my tag first? It's like, where is the due diligence in these situations? I'm like, it's baffling to me. You wouldn't have to apologize if you did your research, but that leads me to believe you are not, the 6 months going to school is not enough. What is it? Police school. I don't know. Police academy. It's not enough. You need 4 years. You need 4 years. Even I know that, though. Even I know when I'm doing my ghetto investigations, excuse me, you have a friend and a man cheating on them. I do my ghetto investigation. I get a thorough report first before I give, my evidence. I know that I went to school for acting. That's it. I didn't go to school for anything in criminal, nothing. So that's my issue, is that you haven't done your due diligence. I'm muting. Oh, Nikita, I'm muting.
I think for me, the most upsetting part is the lack of humanity. And that even if the car was stolen, even if all of that, like, there are children in the car, they didn't have to be pulled out of the car. Like this little girl had a tiara on her head, which meant that they were probably celebrating. This was probably this little baby's birthday. So not only do you pull everybody out of the car and lay them on the ground at gunpoint because you think the car is stolen, but you're responding to a stolen motorcycle, and this is a minivan, and the plates were from another state. And to me, it's just like, even if you thought that they were doing a thorough job or whatever, like humanity lets you know that you don't have to do, like, you don't have to treat humans like that. And even if you have taken the driver out of the car to have a conversation while you ran your investigation, like, what are the 6 and the 12-year-old going to do in the back seat? You know, like, I just think that I think of long-term effects of these incidents, and it's just to Tracey's point, like the level of training, the level of education. I know that as we think about police reform, Aurora, Colorado is a mess. Like, they've had several incidents over the past year or so that just let people know that these things aren't happening. Like, the police chief had to address this. She had only been in that role for a week or a couple of weeks, and so I think there's some deep embedded things in that police department, and probably in tons of police departments across the country and across the nation. But to the point, I think that, like, when we think of police reform, there has to be some defunding of the police, you know, to allocate towards other resources, but there also have to be some educational requirements. You know, when you look at a beautician or a barber, they spend way more time in school than police officers spend in the academy. Wow. And, you know, I'm serious about my haircut. I want my fade to be tight. So I want my barber to spend that much time in school perfecting his craft. But I need our police officers to have a little bit more education around how to just deal with people, like empathy. Because, like, you would never want to see your mother or your child pulled out on the street like that. But for these police officers to do that at gunpoint, like, there's just no excuse for me.
Aurora, Colorado police officers murdered Elijah McClain last year. And they're just now at a point of where they're taking accountability for that crime. For them to turn right around and now do this after making national news and and causing national outrage is, to me, it's inexcusable. And you're right. I think that every police department needs to have deep reflection and deep work around implicit bias, unconscious bias, as well as truly understanding what their role should be. And hopefully we're going to get more support at the very top levels of government in the years ahead, in the hope that we end up with new national leadership. Before we go into our next topic and talk about some local leadership here in Georgia that led to a national response, I want to know from both of you, as being citizens in a battleground state, number one, will Joe Biden win Arizona? And two, will Martha McSally win re-election? And don't lie to us, because let me tell you, the national news will paint a certain kind of narrative. But as a citizen of Arizona, you know the people that you see every day. Like in Georgia, I know these people. Now, I know these people here. I see them every day. So I know what they will do during an election. So I want you to tell us what you really think about what's happening in Arizona. Because on the outside, we're hopeful and we're praying and we're manifesting 2 victories in Arizona. But tell me to refocus my attention and go ahead and put that in Florida.
I'll say that Arizona, like many states that are, and even the swing states, but most states that vote red, like the populated metropolitan areas are blue. So Phoenix is very blue. So I'll say that, you know, when you're in Phoenix and when you're in the Valley, which are, you know, all of these like this area, you don't really see, like, I don't see nothing but people who are in a good mood. Most of these people have relocated here. They're super happy. Like, the rest of the state, like all of the rural areas, tend to vote red. And collectively, they outvote, you know, the metropolis that is Phoenix and the greater Phoenix area. And so I'm an optimist above all else. So I would like to think that everybody is so fed up, that everybody is seeing this mishandling of this pandemic, in addition to all of these other things, that they would need to, they have no other choice but to vote, 45 out of office. I'm also a realist, and I think that people who have less exposure to other news sources, and they tend to go to Fox News for everything, even some of those people who are educated, I don't know if Arizona's gonna pull through for us, but I'm hopeful for everyone else.
I'm just gonna say nah, and if they do, I would be very surprised in regards to Biden.
Aaron, oh my God, don't say that. You broke my heart. You know, y'all dying out there.
Talk to us about that. Talk to us about why you feel that way, because we're in Georgia and I have no hope here. So I want to know. I want to know why you feel that.
Little hope. I have a little hope, but not a little bit.
I'll say that just from my experience and where I live, I sometimes go outside just running in a cutoff Obama t-shirt, and I just know. I know the looks and the stares and the stuff that I get, and I'm in Phoenix. I'm right outside of Phoenix or whatever. But I just feel like they were so, like where I lived, they're so, even like I can go to the grocery store now and I'm still see Trump 2020. Like I see it. I would say that if I do see Biden, if I do see anything Biden, it's a out-of-state tag that was like maybe a what is it called? They were here for the season, so like a snowbird was here. So that's where mine is coming from. I would echo Nikita in regards to around the university and things of that nature. We're going to get, they're going to be voting more progressive, and they're going to be, but no. There's too many other outliers here. So
I'll say I think the disadvantage that a state like Arizona has, and even the people who vote red that live in the Phoenix area, because say Black people are such a small percentage of the population, or even some of the marginalized and underrepresented populations, people don't tend to care. Like there are. They call Scottsdale the second Beverly Hills, and and this mecca of whatever. And so when you think of people who move to Phoenix that are pretty wealthy and all of these other things, they tend to also be really conservative. I went to dinner not too long ago, and there was a white woman there, a friend of a friend, who was explaining why she votes red, and despite all of these other things, she made it to be a religious thing, and to me, it just kind of taught me, or it exposed to me that these people aren't going to change. And because, and we see it on universities, we see it everywhere. People are so removed from the challenges that other communities are facing that when it does not impact them, they don't get involved. It's really unfortunate that's happening to you, but don't bring that over here, whatever that is. And so I just don't see that. I think that, generalizing, disclaimer, I think that people who tend to vote blue are concerned about communities as a whole, whereas lots of people who vote red are concerned about their own community. I'm concerned about my money. I'm concerned about my guns. I'm concerned about, like, I don't care nothing about y'all, coming up in life. I'm concerned about the impact on what tax benefits I'm going to get.
I think that you're absolutely right. I agree with that. For anybody watching, it's 11:11. So right now, make your wish, manifest your best life. It popped up. You see it, 11:11. 11:11 is there. So, maximize. I close my eyes. I said my prayer. I've claimed.
Where? Where's 11:11?
Oh, you don't see it? I see it. Maybe it's only on mine because I'm the streaming host. I see it for all of us. So again, make your wish. So
no, it's not 11:11. I got, before you move on, it's 9:56.
No, I saw I'll explain it. It popped up. I'll explain it. Okay. But let me tell you what else is about to pop up. What popped up at the WNBA game is a protest against Kelly Loeffler. For both Nikita and Aaron, this is the governor of Georgia. His name is Brian Kemp, and he is responsible for the COVID-19 spread in our state that is at an astronomical epidemic proportion that is really growing out of control. Beside him is Kelly Loeffler, who was accused of insider trading, but no charges, brought against her from the, Trump administration in our current Department of Justice, although she clearly broke a number of ethical violations and considerations. She was appointed to an open Senate seat by this governor, Brian Kemp, and she is also a part owner of the WNBA Dream. She has been very vocal on Twitter, where she has called Black Lives Matter a terrorist organization. She tweets about this every single day. Every day, she's attacking Black Lives Matter and accusing them of being a terrorist organization. Earlier in the week, these young ladies of the WNBA wore these t-shirts as they left the bus to go and play a game in protest of their co-owner. The shirts say, "Vote Warnock." Raphael Warnock is the pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church, the former home of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He is the minister who laid Representative John Lewis to rest, and he is running against Kelly Loeffler in the November election. It is a jungle election, or a jungle primary, that will be held in November, where you have 2 prominent Republicans and 3 prominent Democrats running for the seat. So these young ladies took a very bold and very big stance in wearing these shirts in protest of Senator Loeffler. I want to know, what do you guys think about this protest and about Kelly in general?
Well, I'm going to say first that shout out to the WNBA. When we think of athletes, and so many athletes in the NFL and so many NBA players who are afraid to make a statement, because of the repercussions, these WNBA athletes are paid significantly less, and they still don't give a damn because they are going at the person who signs their paycheck. And to me, I think that shows that, again, women tend to do the heavy lifting in advocating for our communities. And so while I think that's sad, in another light, like, kudos to them for being willing to take down the system, even if it's a system that is underpaying them, for their services and whatnot. And I mean, to the senator and to this WNBA owner, like, you're just disgusting. Again, like, humanity, like, you are making money off of this WNBA team. And I am sure, I didn't look at the roster, but I am sure majority of those women are women of color. And you are on Twitter every day, and you are making public statements that you do not think their lives matter, but you are okay with making money on their backs. And that, to me, God don't get no glory out of that. And at some point, she's gonna have to answer for some of this. But I think it's an utter disgrace, and I think that she's disgusting. And if I could go and support this WNBA team, if I didn't think this lady would profit off of it, I would. I want a shirt. I can't even vote for Warnock, but I want a shirt.
Yeah, I would echo that. And I think something Nikita said earlier that really is a lot of times people do not understand, or they don't care to understand, or even reason with the plight of someone else outside of their family or their race or their community. And I think this is, like, in looking into this, she speaks to Black Lives Matter and as an extremist group and all this other stuff, and as if it's just a political movement or something of that sort. And it's like, at this point, everything that goes, the reason we vote for most candidates is because how they whether it has to do with reproductive health, and whether or not they are funding Planned Parenthood and all these other things. And I think that when we take in consideration, like, who we want in office and things of that nature, it's like they're human rights and human issues. It's even removed from voting for someone that is what we care about, and that's what we should care about. And I think that to just blanket it, or to generalize it, or to put it in that category as just almost like a political a political move or an extremist kind of movement, and not see the very root or foundation of it in regards to being about literally Black lives mattering in in their own country. Like we, like I think that's just very telling of the person, and kind of like their views, and like Nikita said, modern day slavery. I mean, yeah.
This is pandemic, and Tracey, you can jump in. I saw you weren't unmuting. It is like modern day slavery. It's kind of like a number of these sports teams owners expect these Black athletes to just shut up and play. You do what I tell you to do, and that's what you're paid to do, is to shut up and play. And you're here to entertain us. You're here to make us happy. And we don't care about your life. We don't care about your beliefs. We don't care about your community. All we care is that you entertain us and you make money for us. And it's really, really unfortunate. I'm proud of the women for standing up. And I agree with Candy. She should be forced to step aside, sell her shares, and move on. Her politics do not align with the belief of her players. And it's really a tough space to navigate, because on one hand, if the ladies quit playing, it will be the most effective boycott, but then they themselves will suffer financially. It's very similar to what many teachers in America are now having to do, as coronavirus cases are soaring. And now both of our national experts are coming out and telling us that it is not safe for schools to reopen. Here in Georgia, we had a number of teachers in Gwinnett County drive into work, sit in their cars, and honk their horns nonstop. They didn't get out because they were reporting to work, but they refused to leave their cars. You also had gentlemen, I know both of you being in higher ed, had at the University of Georgia, faculty and staff went in today as they were forced to report to work, and they laid out socially distanced on the lawn and did a die-in, where they all laid down and held up like signs like they were their tombstones on their chest, saying they died of COVID-19 because they were forced to return to work. What do you guys think about those kinds of efforts in right now as a way of workers to protest what they're being forced to do by, our government and our corporate leaders?
I think it's bravery, because you're putting your livelihood and your security on the line. But at the same time, I think it's time. It's high time that we stand up to these institutions, and in regards to a lot of this stuff, whether it be racism, whether it be our public health or whatever have you. And it's like, why are we going to risk, like, it makes no sense. Like, how, like, a lot of adults aren't social distancing and keeping things, and some of these elementary schools are going back, and so you expect these, as I seen like a meme, that you expect these kindergartners or these elementary students to really practice washing their hands all day and sanitizing and keeping away from each other. All they do is play tag and rub their nose and their eyes all day. Like, what do you expect? Like, so I say kudos to them. And I think that it's just ridiculous that we really expect this in this time, and we're not listening to the experts. We are so worried about money and power and those things, and we're not really concerned about our people. Once again, it boils down to humanity and caring about our citizens. And these acts do not show that they care, they have human decency in regards to our citizens and our safety.
We had 260 employees be forced into quarantine in Gwinnett County the day after they had to go into the school. That should tell you something right there. I mean, parents were out protesting. We need our kids to go to school. They should go to school. We want to go to work, but you're not thinking about these teachers who could get this disease. You're not also thinking about your own child who could get it and bring it to you. It is just insane to me that we think it's okay to go into these closed environments, like you said, have kindergartners, first, second, third, fourth, and fifth graders to be responsible enough. These kids don't even remember to brush their teeth in the morning. And so they're going to have a mask on, and you're expecting them to not take it off and share it with their friends. Ooh, you got a Superman one. Ooh, let me wear, like that's how it's going to spread. Then these babies won't have recess, huh? They're not going to be able to take some of this energy and run it all. Oh no, it's a disaster. It is a disaster, and unfortunately, some kids are going to have to be the ones who.
Well, Tracy, we had a child die today in Georgia. We had a 7-year-old pass away in Savannah, Chatham County. He was 7 years old. They did not know he had, and that school system is all virtual, but they did not know the kid, they didn't know he had COVID-19, and he passed away. I think he passed away in his sleep, taking a nap, and he just stopped breathing. It was COVID-19.
That is the problem for me, is that these babies will be, they're the sacrificial lambs, and it is scary. It is scary for me to see how irresponsible we're being with this disease. I can't even talk about it. I'm going on mute. It is going to make me cry.
Aaron, you were going to say, and then I'm going to add in a brief point. Remind me of what I want. I'm going to defend the parents a little bit, because I really believe there is a level of defense to be given, and I'll share that in a moment.
So I was just going to echo what Candace was saying about a lot of them just don't want to watch their own children, and some of them think that teachers are their free babysitters, and I think that could be the case. But I agree. I don't know exactly what you're going to say, but there is a caveat, or there's another part to this, having to physically go to work and having to not maybe have the resources or even have the knowledge to teach, because a lot of these parents are like, I didn't go to school for this, and I don't know this curriculum is different from when I was in school, and I don't know this stuff. So I understand that too, but once again, like at the sacrifice of the children, I'm not with it. Find another solution.
So, and what I want, yes, Brandy, do not. This is my baby, Brandy, one of my former children. I was a high school English teacher for 10 years. Brandy was in one of those amazing years. Brandy, yeah, boo, yeah. Don't let them children sing up in your face. You can catch coronavirus, okay? They're in there singing. Don't let them sing in your face.
And they'll be okay, and you'll be over there laid out for 2 weeks.
Right. This is what I wanted to say, is that the majority of parents who are fighting hard for people to return to school, some of them, are, let me be honest with you, many of the parents that I know who are struggling, low income to make ends meet, like my mom when I was growing up, they don't want their children to go back to school. They have found a way to script and scrape and pull together resources so that their children can be educated at home. I know working, wage-earning moms, single mothers, who went out and used their last bit of money to buy a new laptop or device. I know parents who went out and used their stimulus funds that were meant to help bridge the gap during the COVID-19 unemployment, and they used that $1,200 to buy a laptop or an iPad for their child so their baby can learn, because they value education. But more than education, in the economy and that stimulus money, they value their child's life. Many of the parents that I have seen in Georgia fighting for their child to return to school, I will say half of them don't have a child in public school, and they're not going to public school. They have kids in private school, and they're Republican, and they are simply making this a political issue. The other half of them they have been informed by President Donald Trump and Fox News media, and they honestly believe that the coronavirus is like the flu. There are people out there who are having their kids go to corona parties. They're going to corona parties, and they're trying to contract COVID-19 on purpose. They are not listening to the experts. They are not listening to the scientists. They are listening to the political rhetoric from people like Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly, telling them that it's not an issue. The governors in our country are feeding into this narrative, and they're doing the exact same thing. They're rushing to open schools. They're rushing and putting pressure on educators and superintendents to open schools. And I think that many people just aren't informed. If you really are honest and you really pull back and you really think about it, guys, only about 90% of people in America are really watching the news at a level of being truly informed about the facts of what's out there. Many people are not putting that time in. When I was growing up, we only watched the news for 30 minutes a day. You watch the news in Mississippi at 6:30 to 7 o'clock. That was it, because in the daytime you're at school. And you watch the evening news. My great grandmother called it the world news. We watched that world news on ABC with Peter Jennings, and everybody even before that. That's what we watch. And so many Americans only get that 30 minutes of news, and so they may not realize how serious coronavirus may be and how bad it is, or worse, they're getting their news from Facebook and the Mark Zuckerberg misinformation machine, and they're looking at all the nonsense being turned out. People as early as late as last week were still on my timeline defending hydroxychloroquine. When Donald Trump said to inject disinfectant, you can Google right now, the calls to poison centers spiked because there were a number of Americans who really believed that you could drink bleach or Lysol and cure coronavirus. People believe that because they're not informed, and we can't take that for granted. And unfortunately, I believe President Trump knows this, and he uses it to his campaign advantage. And it's heartbreaking and it's sad because it's American lives that are at risk. And Rhonda says, wait till it hits home and they realize it's real. I agree with you, but then it's too late. And what child deserves that fate? That's the heartbreaking part. And then when you think about all the other people that will be infected and impacted by these people's rushed and rash decisions. And I don't know any other thoughts about that, because not only are we hurting from coronavirus, but many Americans are hurting financially from this pandemic, and they are in desperate need of Congress to pass another round of stimulus support.
I'll say before we move on to that, I think there's this rush to get back to normal, and normal is a myth. Normal is a unicorn that we will never get back to again. And so I think that, there's all of this push from the economy and all of these other places to, hey, we need to get back to normal. So let's get these kids back in school. Let's there's no way that life will ever be the same after this. We will still be feeling the effects of this years and years to come. And especially because of what the economy is about to do, because they ain't passed no second stimulus again. Sorry, Zach. Here you go.
No, you're right. And I want to say this to Brandy. And I'm going to then, Tracey, you can take it away. I want to say this to Brandy. Now, Brandy, send those kids. Look now, Brandy, you tell the parents if they are sitting there messing with the children at the Starlight Skating Rink in McDonough, don't you send the kids to be with DJ Chester. You don't send the children there, okay? We're not sending the kids there. If that's the case, you let them kids come in your choir room and wear their mask and sing into the mask.
But why, as a parent, would I just drop my kids off to a place where there are no certified people who have been trained to work with kids? Just drop them off at the skating rink. Does that make sense? I'm done. Okay, I have nothing. Let's next topic. I cannot do this.
So we will not. I do not want Tracey to have an absolute breakdown, and we definitely want you to have positive intentions. Nikita, go to the Instagram, throw out an affirmation for her in a moment as we prepare to talk about this stimulus plan that is also going to make her very, very angry. You did say that we need a second stimulus. This is where it's getting tricky. And I've thought about, I'm going to tell you, I've thought about this, guys. I really have. This has been wearing on me, and I've thought about it. I firmly believe that, let me tell you something about this, the man right here, Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is the savviest politician in Washington, D.C. This man has strategy like nobody else. He has looked at data, and he has thought through scenario after scenario, and he realizes that not passing a stimulus is going to benefit Republicans and it's going to hurt the Democratic Party. The Democrats have a plan that will give Americans $1,200 in the stimulus, plus an additional $1,200 per dependent up to 3. Their plan would also extend the $600 unemployment relief, and it would relieve every American of an additional $10,000 in student loan debt, and it would extend all benefits until January 31st of 2021. They are holding tight and trying to toe the line and not break from passing that. But Mitch McConnell knows that if they don't pass it, it's going to look like the Democrats weren't willing to work with them to pass their plan, which doesn't give as much to the American people and most certainly will not extend the unemployment benefits as far and will make his supporters happy. So, should the Democrats just give in and just go ahead and do something? Because on Friday, Tracey, they're on vacation. They get to leave Washington Friday, and they won't return for, I want to say, a whole month. So Americans who are unemployed will have to go a whole month without those benefits. In addition to that, the moratorium on evictions and foreclosures had ended on January the 31st. So if you cannot pay your rent because of COVID-19 unemployment, or COVID-19 underemployment, you can be and will be evicted in 30 days. And so they won't return in time to give you a plan. All of that's on the line, and Republicans know that, and they kind of have the Democrats who, as Nikita said earlier, want to do the right thing over a barrel. What do you guys think they should do? Should they continue to fight, or should they just give in and take it?
They should continue to fight. Because y'all, when I got that $300 and the $500 or $600 extra was not there, my heart dropped because I was like, oh God, it's real now. You know what I'm saying? Like I was already saving money and putting money to the side for a rainy day. But now I'm like, this is not enough money for me to put to the side. I can't even say, I'm check to check, I'm bill to bill at this point. And
let me tell you right now, Tracey, right here. So right here, I'm going to start praying it tonight deeply. You're going to make that money up and double it. So that $600 is going to now be doubled by the end of the month from what you're doing with your virtual online taping. That's going to happen. That's how manifestation works. That is my intention for your life. That's the prayer I'm going to cast over your life. You won't miss a beat. You're going to prosper more in this time than you would have had you gotten that. But that doesn't speak to all the other people that are negative, that are being affected. So are you saying they should negotiate and just give in so they can pass something, or should they fight it out?
I think they should continue to fight because it's a lot of people who are suffering right now. And this is giving people an opportunity to save a little bit of money. I know it's giving me an opportunity, but what about people who have children and families and family members who are dealing with other ailments that are not COVID, like breast cancer? God has blessed my mom to be a 2-time breast cancer survivor, but during this time, I couldn't imagine being my mom having to go to the hospital on a daily or weekly basis to have to get her chemo, and then also not having the financial support behind her. Like, this is crazy. Like, y'all, it's scary. It's scary, and it feels like population control at this point.
I don't even think it's population control. I just think it's a gross neglect of poor and lower income people, because we know that those are the people who are being impacted by COVID the most. These politicians and their families and their friends and everyone else they know, they got tons of businesses. They got multiple streams of income. They're not being impacted financially by COVID at all, not in a way that you are, facing eviction, or that they may even know people who are dealing with the health concerns, or, because most of the people who are catching COVID are these essential workers who don't have the choice, as we talked about with the teachers and other things, of I'm not going to go to work. No, like they need to go to work. They need to pay their bills and all these things. And I just think that it's not even population control. It's that doesn't affect or impact my community. So, it is what it is at this point.
And that's why, and so, Brandy said that I don't think Republicans are going to give in. I don't either. I think that on one hand, Mitch McConnell knows that if this doesn't pass, it won't be the Republicans who are to blame. because most Americans don't realize that the House of Representatives under Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi passed the HEROES Act back in March. They had a second plan, or I'm sorry, in May. They had the first stimulus ready to roll out in March. They had the second stimulus. They had it back in May. It was a $3 trillion relief plan that would have given money to schools, that would have protected workers, that would have given every American significantly more money and more income. That was passed in May, and the Senate declined to even look at it. They said, we're going to make our own plan. So most Americans don't know that. Then when the first stimulus was passed, who got credit for that stimulus? Donald J. Trump. Although the majority of what Americans got came from Nancy Pelosi and the House Democrats. So they already hijacked the credit for it. They hijacked the plan for it. So Republicans feel as though the blame will go to the Democrats. They said we had a plan ready to go. The Democrats wouldn't approve it. The plan they wanted would have hurt the economy. Oh, well, blame the Democrats. And unfortunately, I do believe the majority of Americans are going to probably buy into that myth and buy into that lie. I looked at my timeline today and saw all the attacks against Kamala Harris, and I realized how gullible Americans really are when it comes to being fed false news and false media. Candy, when you talk about poor planning, I have to say it's the opposite. This is really good planning on the part of people like Mitch McConnell. They don't want to pass another stimulus because they don't want to see poor people, Black people, and unemployed people get assistance and help in this economy. It benefits them to have you upset and not being able to thrive. Mitch McConnell planned this out perfectly. He wants this to go to the midnight hour, and he wants either the Democrats to cave and accept his plan or let them all leave with no plan because it's going to benefit the Republicans, and that's the sad part and the really heartbreaking part. Guys, you have anyone else want to talk about this point before we go to something else that's a little bit sad? And, yeah.
More sad news.
Well, Tracey, I know you feel bad. I know you're feeling a little sad, but it could be worse. You could be this guy.
Oh, you know what? I'm not doing this with you on today. I had a conversation with you.
So you don't have to say much, Tracey. I know that, perhaps one day you will sit on the couch and you will have a time to tell Wendy how you're doing. But we will not be hearing Wendy say how you're doing for a while because the show will not be returning in the fall. Many people are big Wendy Williams fans. Tracey and I have gone back and forth about this on previous episodes. I want to know, how do you guys feel about Wendy not returning to the airwaves in the fall? And should she return at all? And shame on you, Brandy, for catching that. Shame on you. I think I may have taught you how to analyze too well.
I love you, Wendy.
Well, I mean,
girl, you said you loved Ellen last week.
I think there's a lot of, there's factors. Obviously, they said, they wanted to return initially when they could actually record in studio, but also her health and things of that nature. And I think that should be her priority at this point. I think she's obviously made a name for herself. People really know her. People really flock to her. Some people just love her and are entertained by her, rather other people.
Aaron, do you love her? Aaron, be honest. Do you like her? Do you watch her? Don't lie. We're going to pull receipts.
Sporadically.
Okay.
No, sporadically. It took me a long time. She to me, she was just a little too mean, honestly. I mean, and I guess that's her job and that's her platform. And that's what she became really famous for, and really I'm not saying I don't know people in my life like that, but I just try not to give that energy out. So anyhow, but I think in regards to her health and things of that nature, I think that her health should be her priority. And yes, she will be missed. But I also feel like I used to watch old reruns of Jerry Springer. Just put her on reruns. I don't know.
I'll say, I think that, I don't know. I have a very interesting relationship with Wendy Williams, in the sense that I definitely see that she has kind of been mean and nasty and just not a huge benefit at all. But I also have seen, I think there was an episode you all were talking about growth and things like that. I ain't supporting Charlamagne, but I think that people like can grow, and I think that Wendy Williams was brought down to earth a little bit when scandal hit her own personal life a little, and so I've actually been to the Wendy Williams show because you in New York looking for experiences. I actually got on camera for a little while. It was interesting, but I think that what we're seeing now, like if Wendy Williams isn't coming back, we know that she's had health problems. We know that she spent lots of time off of her show recently for rehab and rehabilitation. I think we are witnessing, I want to say the fall of Titans, but the end of eras. Like if we think about Wendy Williams' show not returning, like they had Nick Cannon hosting for a while. We know what's happened with him. I remember that episode. But they had Jerry McConnell hosting for a while and did a pilot for his show in regards to Wendy. But we also see Ellen facing lots of backlash right now as well. And there's lots of debate on whether Ellen's show will come back. And what we see is these two daytime TV titans and their era seems to be up. Like, you know, their time is up. And so I think that, you know, as I know there are calls for Ellen that she doesn't want to do a show anymore. And then for Wendy, you know, there are health issues and there are all these other concerns. I think it might be time to let some new fresh faces come in.
But they've also let go of Michael Strahan and Keke Palmer. Like it seems like the talk show genre is just under attack right now.
You know, there was some speculation that they let go of the Michael, Sarah, Keke show because Keke was on the front lines protesting. You know,
because Keke is great. She made that show. She deserves her own show. Period.
But she's gonna be on The Real.
Is she gonna be on The Real?
Well, that's the word on the street.
But you know what? You know, Keke Palmer keeps a check. She just announced today that she's hosting the MTV VMAs.
Right.
She keeps a check.
You know, like, I'm a big fan. I don't know if you I'm a big fan of the Real Housewives of Potomac. And I taught Candace. Candace is one of my babies. I love Candace. She's my favorite housewife of all time. She was my former student. I love her. She's my heart and as a human, like a real person. So I love my Candace. And I watched, you know, Andy's with Keke this past Sunday. And Keke said she wasn't going to take a seat at The Real, but that may not have been true. I wanted to say Candy said that Wendy was unhealthy. Last week, Candy said that Ellen was nasty. So, Candy, we do appreciate that commentary on our daytime talk show host. Then Rhonda said that, you know, Wendy's a little too shady. I'm going to tell you the truth. And then Marshall came back and said, I watch her and I love her, and then gave a thumbs down. And then he also gave a big boo. Let me tell you something, Marshall Jr. Let me tell you something right here now. I got to tell you, because I don't like Wendy Williams because she is a negative presence on Black celebrity. And I can't support anyone who tears down the work that Black celebrities have put in to build their brand and be something.
Like who, though?
Like Whitney Houston. She preyed on Whitney Houston. She constantly attacked that icon. Whitney Houston had real talent. Wendy Williams has real ankles.
Yeah, no. She had real talent, but we've also got to recognize that she had a lot of issues.
She had a lot of demons that people like Wendy Williams exacerbated. Wendy had demons, but it was people like Wendy Williams in her own community that constantly attacked her that brought those demons to life. This is what I believe. As a Black woman in America, you are faced with so many challenges, and every single oppositional force is out there to get you and attack you, just like this young woman we're going to talk about next, Beyonce Knowles Carter. And everybody goes for our Black women. Everybody attacks our Black women. You know, straight Black men attack our Black women. They will not fight to be above where they are, but they want to make sure the Black woman doesn't get there. I saw
I see the comment. It doesn't give us the right to gossip about it, but she wouldn't be famous if we didn't like it.
No, she wouldn't be famous because we assign ourselves and align ourselves to that lower element. So instead of trying to help Whitney, instead of trying to uplift Whitney, Wendy built a whole brand around jokes around her, tearing her down, ripping her apart. And again, Whitney had real talent. Whitney was an American icon. Wendy Williams, I don't see any talent there. To me, if your talent is nothing but tear down and negativity, you have no talent. And that's how I feel about Wendy and Charlamagne's The Gadfly. But that's just my.
I agree. I don't think we should try to tear people down.
Full blame on Wendy.
Before Wendy Williams,
you ain't never on TV no more, Wendy. Never.
No, before Wendy Williams was out there, y'all, I'm not kidding. I was about 7 or 8, and my aunt would read the Inquirer. And the Inquirer would talk about Whitney Houston, and that was like 30-some years ago. That's how old I am. She would talk about Whitney Houston's love affairs with Robin. And as a kid, y'all, I was like, wow, Whitney Houston has a female lover. Oh my goodness. This was before Wendy Williams was Wendy Williams. So we can't just say.
I would say this. I think.
Tell me this. Who runs the National Enquirer? What color?
Wendy Williams.
They're not black. I expect white Hollywood and white reporters to tear down our people because they have done it their whole lives. As soon as one of our talents comes to the forefront, when Whitney Houston can challenge Madonna, when Whitney Houston can challenge the it girl at that moment, for her.
She challenges everybody.
Don't need that from the
She does not discriminate, and I think we need to also recognize that. Well,
that's what Marshall said. He did say she was an opportunity dragger. And I hope he didn't leave because I want to hear what he got to say about Beyonce, because that's something we ain't going to have either. But not Beyonce.
Okay, I'm done. Candace done told me this, so I'm done. I just think that, listen, there are moments that I don't agree with Wendy. I'll be like, okay, come on, Wendy, you pushing it. That's a little too far. But at the same time, I'll be like, yep, I agree.
I think that Wendy Williams can represent the worst part of all of us. I think that Wendy says a lot of things that sometimes people think, but won't necessarily say, because I may have some thoughts about people. I ain't never gonna use my tongue to down another black person, a celebrity, especially in front of white people. That's just not what I'm gonna do. But I think that Wendy says, so again, I don't know if it's talent, but in that sense, but Wendy has definitely says what people are thinking, and it's controversial.
She's a ghetto investigator. But she's no different from me.
But I do think
you have talent. You have great talent. I have seen your acting skills. I know your talent. Not only that, not only do you have talent, but you have education and experience and skills to back up the talent. So you have a natural talent, but you put work in. You went out, you studied, you've learned, you put in the investment to be great at what you do. I can't vouch for Wendy. I need to do her. I won't Google her. I'm not going to even give her a Google hit to see if she has education, because she ain't got any skills that I value. But.
And Tracey, your art uplifts. It uplifts and encourages. That's the difference between your art and your talent, okay? And what Wendy does.
You only say that because I played the pastor. Y'all leave Wendy alone. She's been through a lot, Yes, is it karma? I mean, yeah, it is. I mean, we all got to go through the karma. But at the same time, I will say I do agree that we do need a new face. We got that on YouTube. Have y'all ever seen Unwind with Tasha K? Or Funky Dineva? Oh man, I watch YouTube all the time because they have the new fresh faces.
Ain't nothing fresh about Funky Dineva, and we can't even include that person in the conversation.
Let me hold up, Tracey. Now, who was the first person you named? I'm gonna tell you why I can't watch Dineva. Who's the first person you said?
Unwind, wine, W-I-N-E, because she drinks wine all the time, and she might be a little tipsy when she's giving. Or T-I. She's on the Lovely T-I. I watch her, and then Funky Dineva. What's wrong with Funky Dineva?
This is just I'm gonna let Nikita. You gonna tell us your part. I'm gonna tell you my Tracy. I feel, I can never be a womanist, the black version of a feminist. I can't be that because I'm not female, but I am as close as you can be, right? I feel as though this is a time in history when black women are under assault and attack from so many different sides that I have to do my part as a man to defend them as much as I can. I cannot support or endorse or condone anyone who has built their celebrity by.
Hold on. I gotta take it for myself. How am I losing credibility? I didn't say Tasha K, everything she said was the truth. I did not say that, but I do watch her as a form of entertainment. And then most of the time, 2-3 months later, it turns out that her wine is true. So okay. I done lost credibility. Hell, that watches the Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yep, and Candace is my favorite one. And so, again, Funky Dineva imitated black women, and that's how he built his fame. I can't support that. I didn't support, I was anti-Tyler Perry for a long time for the same thing. I am just now starting this year able to praise him and the turn he's taken with his career because of what he has contributed to Black America and Black theater by giving us building jobs. But I don't agree with black men imitating black women. I do not have, if you're trans, that's totally different. But what Dineva does in her comedy, I don't like it at all. There are black women who could do that same trope, that could do that same skit, who have that same tag that aren't getting the recognition. So it's not funny to me what he does. I don't like that. That's just me.
Nikita, you tell me why, because that's not good enough. Nikita, you tell me why.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to win Tracey over with this argument.
And don't be giving Tracey no hearts, Marshall. You didn't give me no hearts.
Marshall, you give me the hearts. I thank you.
I'll say I think that Funky Dineva, and even with Tracey, you brought up a great point about entertainment. We are not watching these things to be spiritually fed or any of those things. But I don't think that if we're looking at new and up and coming talent, like what Funky Dineva is doing is a poor imitation, and it's old. Like Funky Dineva been doing this for 12, 15 years.
But have you been watching Funky Dineva lately? And see, here's the thing. Lately, he has taken off the wigs. He has really, his commentary, I'd be like, oh, he's smart. He actually did go to school and learn some things about life and how to, I didn't watch him when he was Funky Dineva dressed up in the
lipstick.
You know what?
And I watched him.
What we're gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. You can join me, Nikita. Yeah, I told Tracey, I'm a big cancel culture for
you are.
I promised Tracey that I was gonna do a better job of learning how to give people second chances. And Funky Dineva hasn't actually done anything, like he hasn't done nothing to me to piss me off or offend me. I just don't like him. I don't like the name either. And then, what I'm gonna do, Tracey, just for you, I am going to watch Funky Dineva with a fresh outlook. I promise I will be fair, and I'm going to give him a brand new chance. And I promise you this.
Because he does reviews now. And when I watch his reviews, I'm like, God dog it, I got to watch the show now.
He does give fresh perspectives. I haven't seen Funky Dineva recently, but Tracey, I'll say what I really appreciate about you is that you are a redemptionist. That you are very much like I noticed who they was in the past, but look at who they are now. And as we are all trying to find our light, hopefully there will be somebody advocating for us on that other side of redemption. And so because of that, I'm gonna go check out a Funky Dineva video. And I think that you exemplify grace. And
we're gonna watch it, Nikita. We're gonna watch the last two videos for Tracey and Marshall, and we're gonna give him a fair shot. And Candy and I, we're in alignment. We're gonna keep working on it. We are. And as this young lady works through whatever health issues, we'll pray for her. We hope she gets better. We will pray for that body. We'll pray for I know she has a drain on her ankles and drain all that fluid, and all that she's going through. We'll pray for her and her husband, the divorce, all that. Best up to you, Wendy. But I'm not gonna put too much prayer and attention on you because I only got so much. I'm putting most of my prayer and attention right now on Tracey getting double her money. But I do want to talk about, for Marshall's sake, the beauty, magic, and artistry that is Beyonce Knowles Carter and Black is King. I want to know what you guys thought about this. And your honest opinions, your honest thoughts. I want to know the truth. The floor is open.
Okay, I'm not a Beyonce fan, so I'm gonna go ahead and start. I'm not a Beyonce fan. I think she can sing. I think she's talented. She's a great entertainer. There's been none like her in the last 20 years, okay? Period. I have listened to a lot of the commentary and the criticisms that she's been given about this, about her capitalizing off of African culture and all of this. Look, she's very intentional, guys. She's very intentional. When she does something, she researches, she goes out and finds, like in this, she found African choreographers, African singers and performers to be a part of this. I mean, look at the art. She's an artist. Like, oh my God, it's visually appeasing. We don't have advocates for Africa. When I was growing up, all I thought of Africa were the images that they posted on TV all the time of the malnourished kids and how the tribes were killing each other. I didn't think of Africa as a place of beauty. She has put Africa in on this mantle that it should have been forever. It should have been already on a mantle. And I just wish we would give her an opportunity to link the two cultures together. So I'm done. I'm not a beehiver, but I think what she's doing is amazing for our culture and for Black culture.
So I'll say this, and I echo, like, what Beyonce is doing is unprecedented. You know, we hear unprecedented a lot as we're talking about this COVID and whatever. She is doing something that no one at her stature and at her level has ever done, and she doesn't have to do it. And so I think that people would like to Beyonce's capitalizing. No, Beyonce has a whole lot of money. She could go and sit her Black self down somewhere and not speak up on anything, and she advocates and she pays and she opens up her pocketbook for lots of things that she never advertises. And I think that, you know, Beyonce was trying to do, you know, a lot of African beats like Fela type stuff years and years ago that didn't catch on. And like, so this has been, I think, where Beyonce was getting to this entire time. Like the past 10 years, if we think about it, that the world wasn't ready to receive. And so we look and say that, oh, Beyonce is now trying to wear braids and now she's trying to do this. Now, Beyonce's always been this girl. She's always been this person. I think that I think that a lot of people in society would not allow themselves to stretch and see where Beyonce was trying to go. And I think that even as you look, like, to me, it's so congruent to who she is and to like her family background. If we listen to Tina Knowles Lawson speak on Solange's A Seat at the Table, if you listen to Solange's A Seat at the Table, like, they have been pro-Black like all their lives. Like this isn't a new, I'm trying to gimmick, I'm trying to whatever, because like Beyonce could be a Candace Owens and totally be against it. And Beyonce's losing a lot of fans by doing this. But, you know, I think that the thing that I love about, we'll get into Black is King, but I think even when it was announced about a month ago, her mother said, you know, Beyonce, she posted on her Instagram, Beyonce's been working on this for a year and it's almost been excessive. And you know, and she's been obsessing about this. And I remember I told her that, you know, she should probably like stop, or maybe this isn't worth it. But I can only imagine the amount of labor and the amount of like Beyonce's own money that she has put into this, because she is seeing this as a project that's near and dear to her. And I saw some Marsha just said she don't attend the BET Awards. Can we say that? Because she performed like with Lemonade, she performed at the BET Awards. This year she got a BET, like she received a humanitarian award from BET. Like I think Beyonce loves BET, and Beyonce and BET is showing a lot of love to her. But I think when we think of Black is King, you cannot get a better visual. You don't get a better representation. Like, I remember at first, when I first heard about it, I'm like, oh, what we about to do with A Black is King a year after The Gift has come out? Like, this album been out a year. And I did not love The Gift album, but I'll say that watching Black is King several times, like, all these songs be stuck in my head all damn day. Like, I want to go back and watch these videos and just see the culture and the way that she has just placed like Blackness on a pedestal. And she even says, you know, like, Black is King. Like, she like I'm so proud to be Black after seeing, you know, this representation and this like homage to like African culture and the various African cultures. Like, it's, you know, like, I see that she's done different things with different parts of it. It's just she's so intentional. Like you said, she's so intentional in every outfit and every hairstyle and every dance and it's just we've never seen a pop star. We've never seen a superstar like Beyonce.
And we cannot reduce her to just the BET Awards. She's a philanthropist. She's out in the community doing things for Black people. So she didn't come to the BET Awards, but she came to the defense of Trayvon Martin.
But she was marching with Sabrina Fulton. Huh? She was marching with Trayvon Martin's mama in Lemonade. She had all the
how much money she has given to the movement. This is the thing. There are a lot of Black people out there that want to see celebrities like Portia Williams marching hand in hand, fighting on the front lines. And I get that. And that's wonderful if you can do that. But here's the reality. That's the work of our young people that may not be deep in their careers or may not have to go to work every day at the current moment. But what our celebrities who are at the statue of Beyonce can do is what people did back in the day when our Jewish brothers and sisters would give money to the civil rights movement and bail our Representative John Lewis out of jail, and they would bail Martin King out of jail. Use your financial resources because that's what we lack. I got 2 legs and I got 2 feet and I can march all day. But I can't bail any of my brothers and sisters out of jail yet. When I am financially able to do so, I will. I don't have that income yet. But that's what Beyonce can do, and that's what they've been doing. So don't expect her to show her advocacy by going to the BET Awards. Don't expect her to show her advocacy by marching in a protest. It's great if she can do it, but let's support her for giving the money as they've been doing. That's what we need to see, and that's what we want, to see.
I'll say this, and this is totally side note. We've seen more of Beyonce doing quarantine because she don't have to leave her house. And Beyonce is a Virgo. I don't want to leave my house. So, she could go to the BET Awards and accept an award, and she set up a little backdrop in the living room. That's Beyonce. Because she don't want to be around people. And I don't blame her. If I had the money she had, I'd throw my money around and take care of people too from the comfort of my couch.
And let's be honest, the BET Awards of old, I'm not going to say the newer ones, but of old, the quality, y'all, we got to stop supporting bad quality. Now, I say that. And plus, a lot of people...
It was better this year.
A lot of people like to...
It was great this year. It set the standard this year.
It's not a Black network. It's owned by white people. So let's stop putting the onus on BET no, stop that, y'all. Stop it. I'm done. I gotta go. Y'all done argued me down.
I would say stay a while.
I done ran out of my drink. Can I go get some more drink? Aaron, let me go get some more drink. You talk, Aaron.
I will say, I think it's the one thing, as much as I enjoy social media and connecting to people and being educated and enlightened, I think the one thing that social media has given to people is a platform to be experts on everything, and to really have just all these thought-provoking, deep, opinions and perspectives on everything. And I think no one can do something great or good without a stink piece coming out or everyone trying to tear people down. Like, can't you just enjoy it for the art it is, for the beauty that it is? And I think that people, it's just like, some people are really hell-bent on, like, Beyonce can't you know, like, it doesn't matter what Beyonce does, like, they're not gonna love it, they're not gonna support it or whatever. And so it's just like, she did something, she went on a platform that is a white majority platform, and she released this beautiful Black art, hands down. And so even if
yes, to the masses, Aaron, on Disney Plus, right? Think about it.
60 million streamers.
And Disney Plus just got Hamilton that increased their usership and viewership tenfold. And then right after that, they gave us this piece of work from Beyonce. It was all purposefully done and well done.
And
yeah,
and I think that and I think that people just, anyway, people will not accept greatness, and people will not accept, they have to have a reason to tear someone down because they have to have a versus, or they have to compare them to faves and things that. And I just think that, I think in this time, yes, there are other people, African artists and other artists that have been bringing light to the beauty of Africa, and spiritual remnants and homage and stuff like that, but not on this level, on this platform. And she doesn't have to do it. Just to echo the sentiment, she didn't have to do it. She did have to do. She can give us she can give us a Lemonade 3 if she wanted to. She didn't have to do it. She gave this, and it's a great time, because we need something to give us hope in this time. We need something to remind us that our Black is king, that our Black is beautiful. And so we need this. So it was so if you say she's working on timing, yes, she released this in perfect time.
And I'll say this real quick, Zach, real quick. Yeah. I think that, Aaron, you mentioned something. Beyonce gives platform to these other artists. Like, Beyonce isn't the one like who needs to take all the spotlight. There's some clips of her. She was dancing with some other artists. She was in the back. And there was some artists that were tweeting like, you know, she was like, she just wanted to be a part of the scene. She wanted us to have the spotlight. Like, Beyonce is giving platform to these African artists who have been doing this. And to me, like, that's just like the humility that I just can't even speak, because that's beautiful. Like, Beyonce is used to being the center of attention. She's been the center of attention since she was a child. And okay, Marshall, and for her she gives platform to, and that's advocacy. Like, I think when we think of advocacy and how we want others to be able to advocate on our behalf, or how we may try to model advocacy for others and other marginalized or whatever, like, she is giving a platform. She is allowing them to take center stage while she takes the background. Like, you know, there was a period of time where I was very critical of Beyonce, like the rap singing, like a whole lot of stuff.
As a Virgo, I have
what?
never met one Virgo that criticizes Beyonce.
I expected more from her. I expected more.
She's such a Virgo.
No, and she is. But, you know, the drunken love, like, I expected. There was a time where Beyonce was singing songs that anybody could sing. And I'm like, Beyonce, you are Beyonce. Sing a song that can't nobody else hit. Like, hit a note, like.
But she's also from Houston, too.
Well, and I get it now.
Let me give you a real quick, because earlier Mason said you better stand, and it's not a matter of necessarily standing. A lot of people support Beyonce because for the beauty, for the image. I support Beyonce for the talent, and I support her for the strategy. Let me tell you why. Beyonce had to sing songs that she was given to sing to become Beyonce. She had to rap. She had the bootylicious. She had the bills, because she's a Virgo and she was thinking long game. She knew that she had to have those pop hits to be able to do the art that she wanted to do. You said earlier, I think it was Aaron, what you said, with a seat at the table, they've always been pro-Black. They've always been advocates. They were raised that way by Tina and by Matthew. Tina and Matthew knew the game. They raised their daughters right. But she also knew she had to have a career to stand on before she could branch out and truly embrace her art. So I don't shame Beyonce for doing that. Like, I've learned how now not to shame Tyler Perry, because you have to amass your fortune.
A Virgo.
So Virgos will
get out of here. Who else is a Virgo?
Virgos will take a hit because they know where they're going and they believe in it fully. And they believe in it fully, just like these three people right here.
Come on.
As we go into the up, down, clown, and the products we love, I want to share with everybody, Congo Square Theater is having Industry Training Institute Q1 workshops. This will be happening ongoing, and it features our very own Tracey Bonner. You can get for the very low price of $100 with a discount that she can apply for the first, I think, 5 people that sign up.
That's no longer.
Okay.
I already got 5 people.
You already getting booked and bothered. But Tracey, but again, for $50 a day, you get a full 2-day course that shows you how to do your self-tape. Let me tell you the value in this. There are a lot of people right now who are at home quarantining, and you're worried about the future and what tomorrow brings. This is the time that God has carved out and given to you and put into your life so you can have a free mind. So you don't have to worry. If you're unemployed, you don't have to worry about work at the moment. God doesn't want you to worry about the bills that are to come. God wants you to use this time to refocus your intention and refocus your thoughts and refocus your actions so that you can do what you're meant to do. There is someone watching this clip right now at this time. You just logged on, and this appeals to you. It speaks to you because you're meant to be here. You can get the art of self-taping, learn how to do a self-tape with the master auditioner herself, Tracey Bonner, for just $100 of an investment. And here's the thing about Tracey. I know Javon. I've had a chance to meet him in person on the podcast, and I can also vouch for Ann Joseph Douglas just because Tracey knows her. But what I know about Tracey is that once you connect with her, you've connected to someone good for a long time to come. She helps people out of the goodness of her heart, and she commits and gives all. She's a cancer. You can't get a whole lot more loving than that. So I firmly endorse this class. I support this class. And if you're already in the industry, Javon's course, The Business of Acting, is also very strong. You know him from our podcast. He was a guest. You also know him as the butler, a star of Tyler Perry's The Oval. And then, of course, for those of you who are hardcore and ready for actual auditioning in theater, you have Ann Joseph Douglas's course, Audition for the Stage. Can't recommend this enough. With that being stated, let's go into the up, the down, and the clown of the week. So let's hit it. Who has this week's up?
Huh?
Who's the up?
Who had the up?
They switched. Who's up?
Aaron, you got the up.
Come
Zach,
on,
I think I need to sign up. I need to sign up too, Brandy.
Well, come on. I'll put the link in the description while y'all talk.
There's still room in the class because if she had, let me tell you, because they're not going to keep taking people. I know how they operate. They're going to cut it off because it's not a good experience with too many people. So if you're going, again, $100 investment to me to learn how to do your self-tape with your phone, your camera, or whatever you have. And again, I'm manifesting every. Look at who's on my phone: Oprah and Tim Cook, my heroes. So it's time for you to do that. Again, it's your time. So the up, Aaron, what's our up for the week? The good news.
My good news. Okay. Black is King is my good news. Black is King. I think Black is King is, like I said, I think in a time of, and I don't want to be like redundant because we just discussed, but in a time where it's just, we don't know about a stimulus check. People dying from COVID, continued police brutality, things of that nature. We need some hope, and we need some love, and we need something to brighten up our day. So that, and and find your light. That's the other up. We bring in Find Your Light. So a new episode tomorrow, and we pushing forward. So yeah.
So it's time for the down. And I think who has the down of the week? Tracey?
No. Why I always got to have the down?
Well, I know I have the clown this week.
Nikita, what's the down?
I got the products we love.
No worries, people. I have both. Guess what? I got you on both. I got the clown and the down. So let me start off with the down. The down of the week is Jonathan Isaac of the Orlando Magic. He literally went down. He went down on the knee that he refused to take.
That was a clown.
So the entire Orlando Magic team kneeled in protest with the movement of Black Lives Matter, but one member, Jonathan Isaac, said he refused to because he believes in Jesus Christ, as though we who kneel don't. Well, God made a clear sign and showed him that it's okay to kneel because now he's going to be kneeling at home for the rest of the season. He's injured and out for the rest of the year. Poor times and prayers to that man. You should have knelt in the first place.
Oh, that's the one.
People.
You know, there was all these memes all on Twitter saying the ancestors was going to get that knee regardless. So, you know, you don't want to kneel at the beginning. It's okay. We got your knee. They're going to take it out because God don't like ugly.
I don't wish bad upon.
You don't wish it, Tracey.
But when it happens,
who said that? Who said that?
Who said that?
But I will agree that I do believe he should have taken a knee. I just did not understand his logic behind not kneeling. Kneeling, if you are a Christian, we kneel at the throne of our Lord.
He was saying that God don't like black people. That's what he said.
And again, and for him to use Christianity in that light shows that he has been brainwashed by some fake Christians.
He got some wrong people in the circle. But
that's
you know
right.
What? He got some time. He got some downtime to think about it.
And you know,
girlfriend. Let me look. What's his name?
His name is Jonathan Isaac of the Orlando Magic. And I'm gonna tell you, Marshall, Donald Trump has had a winning streak on the clown week after week after week. But this week, I'm giving my clown to one of the celebrities that I hate the most, the one and the only little man, Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart I can't forgive you for your homophobic rhetoric when you said you would bust your own son upside the head with a dollhouse if he was gay. I hope, Kevin Hart, you get bust upside the head with a dollhouse time after time after time and a time again.
He has learned from that mistake.
No, he hasn't.
What did he do now? What did he do?
While you want to hit your not gay son upside the head with a dollhouse if he was gay, but you rush to the defense of Ellen DeGeneres, who has created a toxic workplace on her show. And I'm not saying that she has, but I'm saying that you are the wrong person, brother, to stand up for Ellen at this time. Sit down, because I promise you this week you did more harm than good.
If he has a personal relationship with this woman, that is just like me having a personal relationship with you and somebody telling me
I'm not a homophobic racist.
Well, he's not racist. Well, this is the thing. All of these celebrities, every celebrity that has rushed to Ellen DeGeneres' defense is a clown. Oh, I've been to her show multiple times and I've never been disrespected. Yeah, because you don't live there. You don't got to report to work there every day. You're a guest. You're an esteemed guest. So, of course, everybody is going to treat you great. Ellen DeGeneres ain't going to treat you like crap. So now I think for everybody to say, well, I showed up, they welcomed me with open arms. Well, what about everybody else? Because I've read some reports and it said that you just had to get used to one day Ellen DeGeneres was gonna hate you. She was gonna be mean to you. She's gonna be nasty to you, and the next day she would pick somebody else. That is unacceptable. That's unacceptable. And I don't know what Jay Leno or Kevin Hart or any of these other celebrities rushing to her defense are gonna do, because that doesn't speak to the PA who was holding the microphone, who was being treated like crap.
You're right.
And so when Kevin Hart rushed to her defense, it undermines everybody else in the background. And plus, he's a homophobe. He's a clown.
And he treats his own staff like crap. So Kevin Hart can exit stage left. He's a clown all day. And you know what? I know I'm at my deepest, darkest despair if Terry Crews or Kevin Hart come to my defense. I don't want neither one of them defending me about anything.
You're right. I'm sorry, Nikita. You're right.
I love you, Tracey.
Can I be right? Am I right, Tracey? Am I right too?
You be canceling too much. We'll talk offline. We gotta have a meeting, a 3+1 meeting.
And so, with that being said, you had your up, you had your down, you had your clown, and now it's really time to talk about the products that we love. Gentlemen, my lady, what do we love this week?
So I got a couple products. A couple that are in hand and a couple that are not. My cousin Jessica is watching. She just released a new like body butter clay, which is amazing. Black owned. Jessica, if you're still watching, drop the information, the website, and the
Tell us
link.
about it. What's the name of it?
It's something Clay. I can't remember right now but she's on here, and I know that she's gonna drop it off. If not, I'll drop it off.
You got 5 minutes. Jessica, you got 5 minutes.
Another one that I've been using has been Butters RX. So BUTTERS RX. So this is from a Black-owned pharmacist out of the Chicagoland area. He has started creating some body butters that have been absolutely amazing. I just ordered some more. This is my restock, and just amazing products. So Butters RX, amazing products. Next, I have Candles from the Heart. So one of my old heads, one of my fraternity brothers, Mike Wilson, his son, whose name is Hart.
What fraternity? You keep bringing this up, guys.
Kappa Alpha Psi, the one and only.
My daddy is a Kappa.
See. So Candles from the Heart is a business by a 9-year-old, 10-year-old boy who went to his parents and said, I want to earn money for my tuition to Howard, but I don't want you to have to pay for it. So can I start selling candles?
What's the name
Candles
of it?
I love that.
Candles from the Heart. HART.
Does he have an Instagram? Can we?
He has an Etsy page. If you type in Candles from the Heart, I've known this little boy I've known his father since before I was a Kappa. I've known this little boy since he was born, and just hearing about him wanting to start his own business because he is so adamant about going to Howard brought tears to my eyes.
You know,
I bought 10 candles, and I got one lit right now, and I got one in every room of my house. Candles from the Heart, amazing scents. Let's get this boy and his sister to Howard University, because that's what his dream is.
Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do, Nikita? I'm gonna email both you and Aaron after the show. So our official 3+1 website is going to launch in early September, maybe end of August, but early September. And we feature every guest. So you will have your live cast episode, a link to the actual podcast that's the same thing as a live episode. And then you're going to have a profile page with your photo and your info and another interview with you. And you'll get that interview emailed to you tomorrow. But I'm also going to have you email me this dad's email, so we can do an interview and we can feature Candles for the Heart, and they can be one of our official, sponsors, free of charge. So we are going to sell affiliate advertising. We're not going to sell advertising where it like pops up on the page, but we are going to sell sponsored ads and affiliate ads through like articles. But I would love to feature Candles from the Heart and let that be our very first like ad for the first launch month. We make a big deal about launching. I love it. I'm gonna order some candles.
They're great.
Friday on payday. This Friday.
There you go. They're great candles.
Love it. Tracey, Aaron, what's the product you loving?
Aaron? We can't hear you. You gotta get
muted. You're muted.
Can I promote the whiskey I showed you, Tracey?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're drinking whiskey tonight. Let's see this whiskey.
Screwball peanut butter whiskey.
It's good.
Yeah, I was introduced to this this whiskey probably around when was it? I think early fall of last year. I know they have it at Costco out here. They have it at Costco. I got a couple bottles for Christmas, and I've been just sipping away. I share it with everyone I can. You don't need nothing else. You can sip on it cold with one cube like you do whiskey, or just take a shot of it. It's smooth. You don't need nothing else in it.
Does it taste like peanut butter?
Yeah, there's a slight peanut butter, but it's not too sweet, I don't think.
It's very unique.
We had it for our last podcast episode. We took a shot before.
So I will say this, it may be a good idea to do your Screwball whiskey with your jam jar wine, because jam jar is very, very grapey, very, very grape jammy. So that might be a good mix. So something to think about, possibility.
Jelly time.
Peanut butter jelly. Peanut butter jelly.
So I think we will try that. I do want to do one last shout out. I want to shout out. I have every Monday I do another live cast with 4 gentlemen called Five Guys on Live. And one of those young men, his name is Vince Ashton. And Vince has a thriving cheesecake business. So for any of our Atlanta cheesecake lovers, and I know that there are many of you out there, Vince bakes the cheesecakes and delivers the cheesecakes. You can find him on Instagram at It's a Cheesecake ATL. So if you just Google It's a Cheesecake ATL, you will see his entire menu of cheesecakes. The menu is a little bit overwhelming, and that Vince makes a lot of flavors. I want to say it's kind of like he's like a Baskin Robbins of cheesecake makers. So I ordered 2 cheesecakes. I had family come over on Friday, and my family thoroughly enjoyed these cheesecakes. We had the vanilla bean cheesecake, which is my favorite, and then we had a white chocolate strawberry cheesecake. So I can honestly say I had the cheesecake. I recommend the cheesecake. The price point was very affordable. And if you are a cheesecake connoisseur or a cheesecake lover, you must try Vince's It's a Cheesecake ATL cheesecakes.
Yes.
Dope.
And so, Peter, Aaron, once coronavirus is over and you guys visit us in ATL, I will ensure that we have cheesecake for our meetup. And Tracey, you were going to say?
My last one is God is dope. I'm going to do this real quick.
Yes.
I have like 50 shirts from them because they sell them for like $5.99 every
Me
week.
too.
So,
I get all the text messages.
Yes, me too. I'm a subscriber, but I love what they are about. I'm a little tipsy, but I do recognize that God is dope. So if you want to get a t-shirt, just go to godisdope.com and check them out. $5.99 some weeks. They have shirts on sale and $9.99 this week.
They got hats. They got hoodies.
Hoodies, yeah. So
I don't own one, Tracey. So I may have to do some research. I don't own a God is Dope shirt just because I was skeptical of the dope part. Because some people will be like dope as in drugs, and you have all this conspiracy about like the 6 God, and so I'm real careful about Jesus, okay? But I do like that shirt. You hold it up again, I love that shirt. Hold it up. It says, "Unless God sent you, it's an entanglement." So I love that. So Tracey, that's a shirt I'm actually going to purchase, so they will get my donation after I buy my candles. So on this paycheck, I'm buying candles. The next paycheck, I may go ahead and purchase my shirt. So with that being said, guys, and again, tonight, Tracey, you got 2 sales of the audition, so you're almost halfway there. Again, we're going to pray, make it happen, manifest the best. And that goes to everybody out there. Manifest the best, your best life now. Have an awesome, awesome rest of the week, guys. And thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. I can't wait until tomorrow to hear the podcast drop.
Congrats, guys. I'm so proud of y'all.
Thank
Thank you for being on the show.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.